February is the month of love. Of course, we all know about Valentine's Day, but today on Community Connections, we'll look at how 3 organizations show us love in unique and memorable ways. Saving lives and providing a second chance at life is the ultimate demonstration of love. Becoming an organ, tissue, and eye donor is a gift of life. Be More Lifestyle host Lady T talks with Sierra Albin, a donor mother, and Adam Felzerona from Infinite Legacy, the organ procurement organization for Maryland and the Metro DC area. Let's learn more.
It's a wonderful gift of love and life. Organ, tissue, and eye donors are heroes. Let's talk about the need for folks to consider becoming donors today. Welcome to the show. We have Adam and Sienna. How are you guys doing?
Great.
All right. So they are from Infinite Legacy. Now talk to me about the critical need for organ donors.
Yeah, so there are currently 100,000 people in the United States waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. 4,000 of those are in Maryland and the Metro DC area, our local area. And unfortunately, 13 people die every day because their organ is not donated in time.
Wow.
So, you know, we always encourage people to consider a donation and, you know, check that box if that's something you would like to do, because there really is a critical need for it.
Okay. What is the hesitancy with becoming an organ donor? What do you think it is?
It can be a number of things. You know, sometimes it's just simply, I haven't thought about it. Sometimes it's, you know, the kind of taboo, and we don't like to talk about death and think about those sorts of things.
Right.
Other times there's myths and misconceptions. You know, people might think that the hospital won't work as hard to save their life if they're a registered organ donor, and things like that. But, you know, we are here to say that your care is the #1 priority when you're in the hospital. And it's only after all life-saving measures have been taken that organ donation is taken into consideration. And also to consider having those conversations with your family and your loved ones, because you might not know their wishes, and it makes it a lot easier when that time, if that time unfortunately comes, to know that decision.
So what part of the process does Infinite Legacy come in on? Yeah,
so we are the organization that facilitates organ, eye, and tissue donation in Maryland and the Metro DC area. So when someone has passed away, hospitals are, you know, contacting us to let us know, and then we're coming in and working up that patient and trying to make that donation happen if it's possible, matching them with potential recipients. You know, so we're working really hand in hand with the hospitals to honor that decision of an organ donation.
And you have people who work with you who have either donated or had a close experience with organ donation, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting when people receive this amazing gift. They're often very they want to give back, sort of. So we have a lot of people who work with us who are very connected to the mission in that way. We also have a really strong volunteer base, people who volunteer their time to advocate for this cause, and you know, even come into the office and do some things, share their story as a means of inspiring people to register as donors. So we really just have an awesome team of people who are out doing this work.
Okay, and you brought someone with you today who has a story, a personal connection to this as well. Absolutely. Talk to me about your story.
Yes, my daughter Sienna passed away 10 years ago from an asthma attack.
Gotcha.
She was an eye and tissue donor.
Wow.
And she made her own decision to become a donor. She saw the heart in my license, and I explained to her what it meant, and she decided she wanted to do the same thing. Of course, we had no way of knowing that a year later she would be gone, just at the age of 7. But by that, I said, you know what? I have to keep her memory alive.
Right.
I have to spread the message about organ donation. There's a little boy that received her heart valves, and his parents didn't have to go through the same pain of losing a child. Just a sense of community. If it wasn't for Infinite Legacy, just wrapping their arms around me immediately after Sienna's passing, I don't know where I'd be, and I'm so grateful for them. So for me, the biggest thing I can do is give back and get out into the community and serve that same education.
And how old was the little boy who received your daughter's heart valves?
He was 3 years old.
Wow.
3 years
old. She saved
old.
the life of a 3-year-old.
Yes.
And that wasn't the only life that she saved, correct?
No, she's also a tissue donor.
Okay.
So lots of skin was donated to help burn victims. There's many misconceptions about that. Oh, if I'm a donor, or a tissue donor, or a skin donor, I can't have an open casket funeral, and that's simply not true. There's a lot of misconceptions, what Adam touched on, that the hospital may not work as hard to save you. The hospital actually doesn't even have access to know who's an organ donor. They have to call Infinite Legacy. So that's something a lot of people do not know.
Right.
So that misconception of they're not going to work as hard is completely false. They have no idea who's an organ donor and who's not.
So what advice do you have for anyone who is considering it from your perspective also?
Just do it. Like I said, talk to your families about it. Talk about your wishes with your family. It's already a hard time that they're going to be going through, so you can just lighten the load just a little bit, and you're gonna be a hero for the rest of your life.
Right.
You know, you're saving a life.
Exactly.
I have so many wonderful friends that I have, lifelong friends through Infinite Legacy, who are recipients or living donors that have donated to someone else that I would have never met if Sienna didn't decide to be an organ donor. And I'm so grateful for those people.
That's right. That's right. How can people get more information?
Yeah, you can learn more and register as a donor at infinitelegacy.org.
Becoming an organ, tissue, and eye donor is the ultimate demonstration of selflessness and love. It's an infinite legacy. When we return, Vincent Hill will share how Pets on Wheels show us love, hope, and healing.
I see a beautiful soul, a hardworking mom, and someone that loves her kids.
She's everything I want to be. She's an amazing mom, an amazing worker, an amazing wife, and I see the person that I want to be in life.
It's so refreshing and exciting to have you as a father.
You are your mother and I's whole world.
I don't have no doubt in my mind about the next version of yourself that you're gonna be.
I just love you, Sarah.
I love you too.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
So 68% of U.S. households have a pet. Pets offer that unconditional love and may also decrease stress, improve heart health, and even help children with their emotional and social skills. For folks living in nursing homes, hospitalized, stressed, or with special needs, Pets on Wheels serves as a source of comfort and support. Let's go ahead and welcome Kathy Mazzata of Central Maryland's Pets on Wheels and volunteer Patty Ford and her certified therapy dog, Belle. How are you ladies doing?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. So, Kathy, tell us about Pets on Wheels.
Okay. Well, we don't have pets that are on wheels. All right. We are a nonprofit, volunteer-driven organization, and the volunteers have their own pets that they take to a variety of different places like schools, hospitals, nursing homes, all for the purpose of providing comfort, connection, and a little bit of joy.
Yeah. So, Patty, you have Belle here.
Yes.
So, she's your dog?
Yes, she is. I've had her since she was 8 weeks old. Yes.
And how old is she now?
She just turned 4.
Really? So tell me how she's changed your life.
Well, she is my right hand, and she has just brought me so much joy. And years upon years ago, when my children were little, I volunteered for Pets on Wheels. And when I got another dog, I thought, I want to do this again because it brought so much joy to me, brought so much comfort to so many people. And her and I are a team. We have a weekly visit at a hospital, Franklin Square, that we go to. And the staff know her. It's like, you know, every time we go, it's like, hey, Belle, how you doing? And she knows everybody. They know her. It's wonderful. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a give back.
Gotcha. So Kathy, outside of the hospital, where are some other places you guys visit?
We go to schools, we go to colleges, homeless shelters, businesses, nursing homes, rehab centers, senior centers.
Okay. Is there a specific story that sticks out that has changed someone's life through your program?
Yeah, we have many. I call them love stories because this is February.
Right.
So one love story is one of our volunteers goes to a hospice center, and as soon as she walked in one day, the pet just forced her to go to a particular patient's room. And there was a reason for that, because that person was in the midst of dying any minute.
Oh, wow.
And just couldn't pass. So the volunteer took the pet, put it on the patient's chest, took the patient's hand, kind of rubbed the dog's chest, and eventually the patient became more at ease and was able to pass.
Wow.
Yeah. And Patty, I know you have one.
Yeah. We were doing our rounds in the hospital, and we went into the cardiac rehab unit where they do a lot of testing, cardiac testing, and there was a young lady, a special needs young lady, who was on a stretcher, and she was having a real difficult time calming down before her test. So they asked me to go in with Belle and brought Belle in, and she jumped right up on the stretcher, did a circle, and then kind of laid right down next to the young lady. And the girl put her arms around her, and she said thank you and started to cry and calmed her right down.
Yeah. How many volunteers and pets does the program have right now?
We have a little over 400 volunteers, and this is the western part of Chesapeake Bay. So we're not on the eastern shore, so we're in the counties, western part of Chesapeake Bay. So a little over 400 volunteers, and probably a little more than that in pets also.
Now, are they just dogs or all types of pets that you deal with?
All types of pets. We have dogs, we have cats, we have rabbits, we have gerbils, we have a gigantic tortoise, we have an alpaca out in Frederick County, we have a miniature horse, we've had gerbils, we've had a variety of different reptiles.
I was going to say no snakes, though, but you just said that, right?
Yeah, no snakes yet.
Yeah, right? No one said, hey, can you bring a pet snake?
No,
so
we are looking for a pot-bellied pig, though. We'd love to have one of those.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
So, of course, Belle can't speak, right? Unless there's snack time.
Yes, that's true.
What do you think she would say to the people that may need her services?
She's never met a stranger, is her motto that I like to say. And she's up for anything. She'll meet you where you're at. If you're having a bad day, she's going to get right in there, and she's going to put a smile on people's faces.
Right.
And
what's
she's known
also
for that.
what's also good is that she's going to give unconditional love.
Absolutely, yes.
To people, so she
Yeah.
won't judge anyone, and she won't like when we're doing reading programs where the children are reading to the animals. You know, she isn't going to say, "Oh, little Jimmy, you mispronounced that word."
Right, right.
You know, so little Jimmy feels comfortable and safe.
So what makes a good therapy pet, right? There has to be an evaluation process.
Yes.
Obviously, it's not for every pet. So
Exactly.
how does that process look?
Each pet needs to have some type of obedience training, whether that's through a company or through the owner. So obedience training, they need to be friendly. Temperament is very important.
Right.
Nice, friendly, calm. I mean, exactly what you see here. Isn't skittish, We make noises when we evaluate them just to see how they deal with that. We're on walkers, canes, wheelchairs, simulating a visit into a nursing home just to see how they deal with the equipment. We do what's called a leave it test, where we put a piece of food right on the floor and we watch how the handler and the dog don't take the food, all right? Because you never know what's on floors in schools or in hospitals or in nursing homes. So then if they pass that screening, then they're a certified therapy pet for the next 2 years.
Why is it important that the pet is not skittish? I think there's an importance to that, but can you speak on why that's important?
Well, because if the pet's skittish, they're going to move, and they may move quickly. They may knock you down. They may knock somebody else down, too.
Right.
So that's the thing when you're taking them into an environment like a hospital. And Belle goes all over the hospital. She goes to the intensive care unit, and there's lots of beeps and buzzers and things. And over the years, she's gotten so attuned to all those noises that they don't bother her at all.
Right.
But it's a learning process for them, too.
Right. How could someone volunteer their pet if they wanted to?
Well, they can go onto our website, which is petsonwheels.org, and they would fill out a volunteer registration form. And then they would be asked to send in a health certificate. So we want to make sure that the pet is safe and also the people that the pet visits is very safe. So they need to be up to date on their vaccines.
Okay.
And then they're invited to a screening or a temperament test. After they pass that, they go through a orientation on Pets on Wheels, and then we help them find a facility in their area that they'd like to visit with their animal.
Got it. Last question, what inspires you to do this?
Oh gosh, the love for animals and helping people. That's what inspires me. The expressions on people's face of just joy, and they just come out of their shell, and it's just gratitude.
You can take a really bad situation and bring a dog into it and can turn it around.
Just like that.
Just like that, yes.
All right, ladies, we'll leave it right there. All right, Kathy, Patty, and of course, Belle, thank you so much for joining us. For more information about Pets on Wheels, visit petsonwheels.org. Coming up, we'll speak to parks and people and how they show us love through engagement with nature.
I would just want you to listen to me more often and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
As a medic, Sergeant First Class, E7. I went in the first waves, and when I came back, I didn't come back the same way as I left.
I was in 11 Bravo, it's infantry. Deploying is what we sign up to do. Fighting wars, protecting civilians back home. I never got to do that, so I still feel weird around the title of veteran.
If you could say anything to that veteran, what would you say?
It takes courage to say I need help, and you realize you're not alone.
You deserve because you served. If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait, reach out.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health, my own mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I've never been more devastated than the day I lost my mom. I was depressed, miserable, in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came. My pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. The chaos that was in me began to subside. I was more focused, clear. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. That's not up for debate. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Well, so many of us have a love for the outdoors, and the outdoors shows us love with health and wellness benefits. But for folks in urban areas, it can be challenging to connect people with nature. Parks and People is on a mission to connect city residents with nature by creating green spaces and parks where people can move, breathe, and feel safe. Parks and People Executive Director Frank Lance and Director of Parks Projects Laura Conley join us to share more. How are you?
Thank you. We're doing well. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So tell me, you guys, we were talking, you have 9 acres right now. Why is it important for that green space for folks in the city?
So that's a great question. It is a way of showing love. People love to be outdoors. We love to see a sunrise, a sunset. We love to hear water running.
Yeah.
We love to be around water when we vacate. As you said, the issue is in urban settings, it can be difficult to find that kind of nature outlet. So what we do all around Baltimore City is we build parks, trails, green space, playgrounds, so that you can have that nature setting in the urban environment.
Right. And you know, in Baltimore, we hear all the sirens, the cars, the dirt bikes. We hear all of that. So what are some of the health benefits of just getting away from that and just being in that nature?
So because we are by nature outdoor beings, having that kind of environment allows us to have better air quality, tree quality, water quality, to relax and get away from the hustle and bustle. And that's what Parks and Green Space does.
Well, why is that so important, especially for certain demographics, to just be able to get away from that? Why is that so important?
Well, like you were talking about, if you're living in a neighborhood with a lot of noise, it's really hot, parks are a place that you can go and have respite. They're a place that kids can go play and be kids. They're a place where, you know, there's wonder around every corner. There's, you know, I have 2 little kids. I love taking them outside just for a break from being in the house. It's where you can get your energy out. It's where you can be yourself. And even if, you know, if you're just getting outside for a little bit, it has really positive physical and mental health benefits.
So where are some of these parks at, right?
So we do these parks all over the breadth of Baltimore City. Just 2 years ago, we improved 8 miles of the Gwynns Falls Trail. We've done work in East Baltimore. We just had a park for a community in East Baltimore right off of Chester Street in Preston. It's called Preston 2K. We've done work in what was Ground Zero for the civil unrest on Stockton. So we do projects all over Baltimore City. The idea is we want every Baltimorean to be within a 10-minute walk of a quality park or green space. So we do work all over Baltimore City.
Obviously, there's a cost to build these parks, right? But for someone that wants to visit, there's no charge, correct?
There's no charge. So we partner with Baltimore City Rec and Parks and their assets, Baltimore City Public Schools and their playgrounds, and communities who need these kind of park spaces in their communities. We raise the money so that people can go to these places at no cost.
Year-round, this is available. But when do you think it's most active for people? When do you see the most people going?
Well, currently in the cold freeze that we're experiencing, we don't see many people outside in these frigid temperatures. But in the spring, the fall, and during the summer, people absolutely adore these places, and they go to them, as Laura said, as a reprieve, as a respite from their normal lives. So typically, they're the busiest when the weather is at its best.
And with that, let's talk safety, right? Because these are open parks, but you have trails, you have all of this. So what would you tell people going to these parks from a safety standpoint? Like how to protect yourself from injuries and other things, because unfortunately, again, we are in the city. So let's talk about the safety of these parks.
We'd love to. So part of what Laura's team does, and I'll let her address this, but when we're designing these places, we think about those kind of things. So we think about ADA accessibility, we think about the assets that we put in, we think about the surrounding community and what makes it most safe. So part of the design itself, done with community residents in mind, is about the accessibility and access and safety of the location. Laura?
Yes, Dr. Lance, thank you. We're looking at how people get to these spaces, so we're also working with other city agencies to make sure they're accessible. If there's a busy road nearby, we're making sure that there's a safe way for pedestrians to get to these parks too.
Now, you mentioned planning. How long does planning a park from start to finish take?
Probably about a year for the planning part. You know, we're working with neighborhoods, we're working with other community groups, and so we want to make sure that the space is fitting within the neighborhood and you know, meets the needs of the neighborhood. So we do a lot of engagement up front, and then we're working with designers, engineers, if, you know, depending on what type of amenities we're putting in the park. So probably about a year for that. And then for construction, maybe another 3 months or so.
3 months. Well, that's not long. I would assume it would take longer.
Yeah, it depends on, you know, how big the space is, what we're putting in there. But we try to do it on a quick timeline because, especially when we're working in neighborhoods, we don't want to have a really extended timeline, and you know, want to make sure we're delivering quickly.
Is there a concern because, you know, Baltimore, you know, we try to grow, we try to expand, we try to bring in businesses, and of course with that you lose your green space. So is there a concern that eventually the city may run out of green space?
So we don't have that concern, and I'm so glad you touched upon that. The cities that are really growing, the cities that are thriving, have an abundance of green space and parks and trails. Baltimore does not have this issue when you think about maybe running out of it, because remember, Baltimore City used to almost be 1 million people in population. It's down now under 600,000. So with that population loss, you have the space for parks and green space and playgrounds, and we try to maximize that.
Okay. Last question. Either one of you can answer. Why would you tell families to come to your park?
I think it's just a great way to spend time with, like, your family, your kids. It's a good place to connect. It's a good place to meet people. You know, there's so many social benefits. There's physical benefits. I love going to the park.
Yeah. How about you, sir?
I would say that parks can be a place of wonder. It can spark the imagination, give hope, dream dreams. So parks are who we are. Parks is where we want you to be. Parks is where we want you to see wonder.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Thanks so much. Well, of course, some of the best advice, at least my mom always gave me, was to go outside and play. And today, now more than ever, that is some good advice, because engagement with nature builds healthier children, families, and communities for the future. To learn more about Parks and People and how you can volunteer, visit parksandpeople.org. Thank you for joining us today. There are many opportunities to show us love, and never a better time than now.